I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've crossed the deserts bare, man. Breathe the mountain air, man. Trouble I had my share, man. I've been everywhere. All right, today we're doing some Johnny Cash on the guitar. New guitar tutorials every single Monday. So if you like what we do, hit subscribe. If you love it, think about becoming a Patreon. Printable tabs with every single lesson. Links up here in the notes. More links in the description, including my email if you want some one-on-one lessons. Let's do it. Grab the guitar, brain, attention span. Follow me on in. And let's break it down. All right, I've been everywhere. If you are a world traveler, let me know your favorite place you've ever been to in the comments below. 3 chords for this song: E major, A major. You could play an A7 with an open 8 in there. Okay, you can use those chord diagrams. And then if you're a beginner, the hardest will be B7. It's a 4-finger chord with your middle finger, 2nd fret of the A string, index 1st of the D, ring 2nd fret of the G, open B, pinky on the 2nd fret of the high E. All right, we're gonna jump into the verse and then the chorus. And the chorus and the verse. I'm gonna do the intro at the end because I think that's the hardest part. And I think it's the least important part of the song, ironically, right? You could just start with, I've been everywhere, man. And I think people would like it just fine. All right, so let's jump into the verse, or the chorus. All right, and then comes the chorus. And we wanna get the strum pattern down because it's such a big part of his sound. So let's start slow. And what it is, it's a plucking of the bass and then a down up. Pluck, down, a 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 pluck, down, up. There's a couple levels to this. If you can only pluck the E string, that's okay. This sounds good. Try it nice and slow first. Pluck, down, up, pluck, down, up. And my palm is making contact with the strings as well. Pluck, down, a pluck, down, a pluck, down, a. When you feel confident with that, try to pluck every other pluck on the D string. Now, if you accidentally hit the A string instead, it's really not a big deal. And if that alternate is too tricky, but you love the song, just stick with plucking the E string. All right, now let's speed it up just a little bit. About right there is where you want to get it. Do, 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 do. And go ahead and get this under your fingers before you try anything else, because this is the foundation of, the Johnny Cash sound. Each 1, 2, 3, 4 is one measure. And when we get to the chorus, we're going to do that 4 times. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. One way to kind of help it is the where is on the 2nd measure. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man, across. Then we get to the A. With the A, you're just gonna wanna pluck the A string for your bass. You could use an A7 if you want to blues your sound. I've seen a lot of people play it with the 7 chords. I don't think he is playing the 7 chords. I think he's just playing E and A, but you could do E7, A7 if you like that sound a little more. And this time it's only 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Important is you don't go across and start with A, it's across. And cross is on that first pluck. Across the desert bare, man, breathe the mountain air, man. And after that 2 measures of A, another 2 of E. Across the desert bare, man, I breathe the mountain air, man. Travel I had my share, man. I've been everywhere. This is where it gets interesting, because normally it'd be 2 measures of this B7, but it's actually 3 here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you make the B7, you're gonna see my middle finger. Now again, you could just strum and pluck the 2nd fret there on the A string, down a pluck, down a pluck, down a. But you can also get this finger to go from the A to the E string, pluck, down, up, pluck, down, up, pluck, down, up, pluck, down, up. It sounds great. And that helps me keep track of how many measures, because every time I move my fingers, one measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to E. Travel, I had my share, man, I've been everywhere. Then you have where, and that would make 12 measures. Then you where, I've been to boom, and then you kick off the next verse with the been to do 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 do, and you start the chorus there on the 13th measure. Now later in the songs, you add one extra strum of E. So it would be, travel, I had my share, man, and I've been everywhere. Extra right there, and then been to Reno, na 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 na. All right. So let's go ahead and play through the whole chorus together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the desert, bare, man. Breathe the mountain air, man. Travel, I had my share, man. And I've been everywhere. Been to do 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 do. Now, let's take a look at the melody for the chorus too. That's the first phrase. G sharp, first fret of the G string, down to the D string, 4, 2. I've been everywhere, man. 1, 4, 2 to the 4th fret, C sharp on the A string, back to the 2nd fret of the D, the E note, and then F sharp here, but this time you give it a little bend towards that G. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Okay? Happens 2 times. Across the desert air, man. Next phrase. This time they flatten that G out because the G sharp over the A doesn't sound that good. The G makes it an A7, so that's where that A7 sound comes from. Oops. 2nd fret of the D string, across to the open G. Across the 4th fret of the D, across the desert. 2 open, 4, 2, 4. Across the desert, airman. Then you're gonna play the E note 2 times. Across the desert, airman. All right, and the next phrase is breathe the mountain, airman. And this one we're gonna start on the C sharp, 4th fret here. I breathe back up to the 1st fret of G. I breathe the mountain, airman, to the B. 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 2, and then 2 on the D. I breathe the mountain, airman. Well, travel, I had my share, man. Well, travel, I had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Over the B7, it's just you hit that B note, 2nd fret of the A string, then up to F sharp. Well, travel, I had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. So from the top, you get, ooh, I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the desert, bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Well, trouble, I had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Now, the verse is much more traditional. The verse is 4 strum patterns on E, 2 on A, 2 on E, 2 on B, 2 on E. And that fits that 12-bar structure. So why don't we put the lyrics up and just strum through this verse together? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, change. Change. B7. Just 2 measures back to the E. 2, 3. And then I've been everywhere, man. Right back into the chorus. Okay, now we're at the intro. I was toting my pack along a dusty Winnemucca road, where along came a semi with a high canvas covered load. If you're going to Winnemucca Mac with me, can you ride? So I climbed into the cab and I settled down inside. He asked me if I'd seen a road with so much dust and said, I said, listen, I've traveled every road in this here land. All right, that's the most basic version of it. Now, I was toting, and you're just going to strum that E and let it ring. I was toting my pack along a dusty Winnemucca road, when along came a semi with a high-end canvas-covered load. If you're going, then the A on going, if you're going to Winnemucca Mac with me, can you ride? And so I climbed, strummed the E on climbed into the cab and settled down inside. He asked me if I'd ever seen a road with so much dust and sand, and I said, listen, I've traveled every road in this here land. And then there's a little walk up. Do, do, do. At the very end, this you could get away with just this, right? And then it's the 2nd fret of the D string, 4th fret, 1st fret of the G, right into the E. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been everywhere, man. That works just fine. Now there are some fills and things happening over this part, right? And over the E, a lot of it is just basic, but he's also touching on the E blues scale and the E major scale. So one little basic lick we can throw in here. I was toting my pack along a dusty Winnemucca road. That little basic one. Open D string, hammer on 2nd fret. Open E string, hammer on 2nd fret. That's our E note, right? So anything kind of landing on that E is going to sound good here. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Another one he does there is just hammer on the same note 2 times. So there's another little one you can throw in. And you can throw in these licks anytime, right? I was toting my pack along a dusty Winnemucca road, when along came a semi with a high canvas covered load, and you're going to Winnemucca. This one's a little more complicated. But it sounds great. Over the A, you're going to play the 5th fret of the D, G, and B strings. And you're going to hammer on the 6th fret of the G string. Then after that, you can play 7, 7, 7 of the same strings. And that's over the A. If you're going to Winnemucca Mac with me, can you ride? So I climbed into the cab and I settled down inside. B7. Over the B7, he's just doing a lot of. He asked me if I'd seen a road with so much dust and sand. And that's something you can do over all of them too, is just pluck them individual. And he asked me if I'd seen a road with so much dust and sand. And I said, listen, I've traveled every road in this here land. Do, 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 do. I got that walk up. There's a cool blues lick too on the electric guitar that sounds like this. That you can throw in there as well. I'm sliding 4th fret of the G string to the 2nd fret, and then pulling off. 4, 2, slide to 0, then landing on the 2nd fret of the D string. I'm going to do open G string, hammer on the 1st fret, classic blues sound. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do 2 pull 0 on the D string, 2nd fret of the E, open D, hammer 2, finishing on the E note. And that sounds great in that context too. And so those are the licks that you would throw over the intro. But you can, in the song at the end, he goes, "I've been to Barranquilla." Barranquilla is actually called Barranquilla, and it's a city in the coast of Colombia. And from what I could discern, Johnny Cash never went to Colombia, so he never went to Barranquilla. But it's also, you know, you got to get these songs that rhyme. And maybe there's another Barranquilla in the world that I don't know about. How do I know that? Tricolor, baby. We're in Colombia right now as we film this. Okay? I hope you dig it. It's a little wishy-washy with the whole 13, 14, 12 bar action, but it should go to show you as a songwriter, don't be scared to break some conventional rules, and feel free to kind of break out of the 12 bar or the 16 bar box. A 9 bar verse is fine, and a 17 bar verse works just as fine too. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next Monday for guitar. Life is good. Catch you on the flip side. Think about becoming a Patreon if you dig it. Cheaper than a cheap cheeseburger. Rock and roll. Take care.